Hi guys, welcome to yet another step-by-step video tutorial on how I made this flyer. Let's dive right in. Alright, I made the size 5 by 5. So I drew a rectangle square and I flipped to 45 degree. It's not looking like a diamond shape. I duplicate the file and I flipped back to 45 degrees. Now it's looking like the original shape we used earlier on. Now I placed in the middle and I centralized. I removed the fill and I added the stroke. I reduced the stroke to 3. Alright. I centralized. Duplicate and I flipped horizontal like this and I centralized back and I added the text. I increased the leaving and I reduced the intentional so as to fit inside the diamond shape. There you go. Alright, I changed the font to lemon milk, thinking it would be nice, but later on I changed back to go bold. So I centralized. So I drew another rectangle that I'll be placing my date on. So I changed the color to yellow. Alright. So I centralized, then I centralized, then I brought in the name of the church and I changed the font to a more basic font. So I reduced the presents. I spread out the presents and it's looking like this. So I changed back to go bold. I changed the intentional back to go bold. So I placed in the middle, reduce a bit, and I placed in the middle. So whatever I do, I always like to centralize. So I brought in the date and the time, of course. So I changed the color to black, increase. The font wasn't going well for me, so I had to change the font to B bars. So it's now looking like this. So I increased the size. So I had to reduce the demarcation. Placed in the middle and it's all looking good. Alright. Alright, so I drew another rectangle hoping to place the picture and other important details on the rectangle. So I brought in the first picture, I brought in the second picture, I adjusted to fit in. So I was just trying to adjust the picture using my head to design, but I found out it wasn't going well, so I had to take out the rectangle and I took the pictures to the top of the flyer and I brought our graphics to the middle of the flyer. So it was looking good. So I just had to adjust the whole design, the entire design, try to place the picture in the right position. Okay, so trying to blend the picture with layer mask, blend to the background, blend to the background. So like that, we blended our pictures to the background. Reduce a bit. Adjust the graphics. So I added the name of the church and the address to the bottom left. Increase the address. So I changed the font type. Okay, it's looking all good. So I noticed the name of the church was still on the address. Since we already have the name of the church above, so I don't think there will be any need adding the name here. So I removed the name of the church, just left with the address. So I duplicate the address and I added the other vital information. So I added the name of the couple, the first one. Okay, so there you go. So I just duplicate by dragging, and I added the name of the second couple. So I changed the background to black, and I added this background, hoping to use it for the intentional living. So I just create clipping mask on top of the intentional living. So the background was not really giving me what I had in mind. It wasn't giving me what I had in mind, but I just left it there. Just left it there for. So I changed the stroke to white instead of black. You remember the first time it was black, but right now I'm changing to white, so it will fit with our dark background. And I changed the rectangle to a different color shade from the background, but definitely I'm not going to use that background. I'll be changing it later on. So I changed every other text to white so it can pop. So there you go, all white. So I brought in this background. It was giving me the vibe and the feeling I liked, so I used it and it was worth it. This is the picture I had in mind, that colorful background. So I changed the date rectangle to orange, and I brought in the main background for the flyer, and I added Gaussian blur to the background. So as you can see, it's all coming up, it's blending all together. So I adjusted the color for the background, dimmed it a little bit. So I added the pastor's name, their names, dragged, and I added the other. There you have it. So I brought in the skyline, Jackson skyline. So I wanted to place at the bottom, but it wasn't going well, so I placed on top of the flyer. right there. So I changed the blending mode to overlay. So I use overlay for the blending mode. So I'm just trying to see if it's going well. So created layer marks for the background. Then I blended the bottom of the background so as to fit in well with other backgrounds. So I brought in this lens flare I downloaded online. I removed the black background by changing the blending mode to screen. So I'm trying to adjust, trying to place. So you just want to take your time so everything sits properly. So I'm trying to remove unwanted parts. Try to place very well. Okay. So I took it to the bottom of the flyer, like to the back of our graphics, and it's looking like this. So I changed color. So I'm just trying out different colors to see, which would go well for the background. So I brought it up again. I removed the parts blocking the names so as to see the names clearly. So it's looking like this. So I discovered the pictures are not blending in with the flyer, so I adjusted the contrast and the brightness. So I removed the clouds from our skyline. Now it's looking like this. I added drop shadow to the names so it can pop very well. Just copied layer style and I pasted on all other info so they can pop too. So I changed the font for the address and the single members only to a wider font. So now it's looking like this. So this is what you have now. So I darkened the main background a bit so as to make the entire design pop. So this lens flare wasn't blending in for me, so I had to change the color a bit. Yes. So now it's blending with the background and the background inside the intentional living. So I'm just trying to adjust all other text. So I brought in the logo, and as you can see, the logo is dark. You can barely see the logo. So I increased the lightness so you can see it very well. So here we have it. This is how I made this flyer. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe so that whenever I drop this kind of video, you always be the first to get notified.